I have another question. As you know, I have done my research on Mahabharata to write my Janya Bharata, the book, while following your research, etc. Some of the things that I always had a doubt was, yes, we believe that Mahabharata happened in 5561 BC, to be more specific about the Kurukshetra war.
Yes.
And then, so my question is, if this this large scope of war was happening, what was happening around some of the major civilizations that we read about across the world? I'll take an example of Misr, or Egypt, or Persia, which is still would be on the outskirts of India. That's what I learned from you about that too, and I believe that too. But what about some of those other major civilizations which are there? What was happening in those areas? Do you have any reasoning for that, or any information on that?
Okay. So as far as the Iran is concerned, it wasn't even outskirts. It was very much India.
Okay.
Think of it, the Gandhar, which is Afghanistan, very much India.
Yeah.
And if you read Mahabharata, again, I will emphasize this point, just take this opportunity.
Absolutely.
I keep on saying to people that, I say because it is there in Mahabharata and Ramayana, the location of Prag Jyotishpur, the place of Narkasura or Bhaumasura, and
Narkasura.
It is to the west of India after traveling for a very long time. That is the description in Valmiki Ramayana, that is the description in Mahabharata. But going further in the Mahabharata, like the king Bhagadatta, he came from Prag Jyotishpur. His connection, maybe as an ancestral connection with Narkasura, Bhaumasura, is also given. And Arjun, when Arjun goes in that northwest direction during the Rajasuya Yajna, he fights with Bhagadatta.
Okay.
And he's going in the northwest direction. You know, it says north, but he's going in the northwest.
Towards
and
Afghanistan.
Correct. And Nakula goes straight west towards like Oman. Just imagine swimming, to Oman or something.
He must have gone on a boat.
There is a reference to he crossing the ocean.
Yeah.
In the Rajasuya Yajna, Sabha Parva. Okay. So those things are there. So which is, I am saying, based on the limited information, the location can go here and there, back and forth. But I'm saying that's possibly Baghdad. Modern day Baghdad is the place of Bhagadatta. Because it was a very, rich place. Tigris and Euphrates.
Gandhara became Kandahar.
Correct? Yeah.
Bhagadatta became probably Baghdad.
Right. Yeah, and then but Iran we call it now, but it was a Persia, and it comes from Parashu. The descendants of Amavasu, who went to the west, this is going back 55 royal generations before Mahabharata. And these are royal generations, not to be counted in a linear fashion, like only the important ones are mentioned. This is going back to Pururava Urvashi's time and his descendants. The Amavasu's descendants went to the west, and they are called as Parashu, Aratta, and one more, and Gandharas. Okay, so
all of them went to the west.
Yeah, so this is very long time, and that is there in Ramayana 14,000 years ago.
Nice.
Okay, so but your question was, so Iran is very much part of the Bharata, you can say. Even the Iraq possibly is, because Bhagadatta.
It's almost at the borderlines too.
Right. And we have we'll say Syria. Syria is a Balik. Today there is a river Balik, exactly same spelling, that flows through Syria, and they call it Balik too.
Interesting.
Now what you'll also find that the location of a Balik, if you look through different Puranas, it has changed. Now do you know why? Because as they moved, so suppose a certain time period, certain millennium, they were here in Iran. That area was called Balik because those are the ancestors. They moved further, that area was called Balik.
Okay.
So we don't know exactly when Syria was Balik, but we have enough reason to understand that Mahabharata times that was Balik. Okay, so up to Syria, yes.
Yeah.
Now you asked the question about the Misra, or which is Egypt. As far as the Mahabharata is considered, there is nothing.
Okay.
But because you asked, I will give you something else.
Absolutely.
That goes to Ramayana times, but not Ramayana times. This is now, Ramayana is 14,000 years ago, but the memory of it, and actually the descendants of Rama as if continued in Egypt.
Okay.
For a very long time.
Okay.
So Herodotus, he wrote History of the World. And actually, really it should be called History of the World that he knew, because near the Mediterranean.
True.
So from Greece, he actually once went to Egypt, or maybe gone multiple times. And think of this guy as like a tourist guide, let's say. he's walking for Herodotus and giving that information, and Herodotus writes that in his book number 2, from chapter 124 to 141, 142, 143. Very interesting. So what he says is that that tourist guide showed Herodotus 341 statues along the road in Egypt. Okay, and he said these were different kings in the one ancestral dynasty. So he says A is a king of B, B is son of B, B is a son of C, and so on. So he gives a lot of information, some details. And then he says each king or 3 kings together were about 100 years, and therefore 341 kings amounts to, that's the calculation he gives. I'm not calculating for him. He says that amounts to 11,340 years. And you can, somebody can do the math. 341 times 100 kind of thing. Now, 341 times 33. Now combine this, the simplified call it 11,500 years ago. I'm just saying that because time of Herodotus was 500 BC, which is 2,500 years ago. 2,500 plus 11,500 is 14,000 years, which is the time of Ramayana. Just keep that in mind. Now what is interesting is, so this calculation Herodotus gives in the chapter 141, 142, 143. But now go backwards. When he starts saying A is the son of B, B is the son of C, and so on. If you go back to chapter 124, he writes a very peculiar thing right at the beginning. He says the first king was like a god. He doesn't even god, like as if like avatar or something. And his rule was a phenomenal. But after that, the degradation began. And none of these rest of the 341 kings were gods. They were human beings. Keep this in mind. Now, what is the name of this first king? Ram Sinitos.
That was like pretty close.
Ram Sita. And now, of course, some people will say, Ram Sinitos, Nilesh, are you trying to find some coincidence with the Ram Sita? There is a huge difference. Those people who say this, well, actually, it could be a coincidence and maybe nothing to do with Ram and Sita. But those people who make that argument, they don't study anything around the world. Because if you do study, I'll tell you, if you go to Peru, which also has a connections to Ramayana with the candelabra of candles and trident, Peru, until recently, celebrated a festival. And do you know what was the name of that festival? Ram Sitwa. If you take the V out, it is Ram Sita. You don't have to do anything else. Recently, I don't know exactly when, they changed the name to Inti Rayami. But even there, it doesn't go away. Do you know what Inti means? In Quechua language, Ayamara, means son. And Rayami means like a dynasty, royalty.
Ikshwaku dynasty.
Ikshwaku solar dynasty, Ikshwaku dynasty. So Ram Sita, now they're celebrating as Ikshwaku dynasty or solar dynasty. Right? And just the last point for the Misra. There are many Rameses, you would have heard about that. So right with the India in the center, you go to the east, like go to Thailand, and we have this Ram 1, Ram 2, Rama 2, Rama 3, Rama 4, Rama 10. Go to the west to Egypt, we have Rameses 1, Rameses 2, Rameses 3, Rameses 4, and so on. And just to conclude our thing, a long one, Rameses 1, just for fun, what is the name of his wife? Sitre.
Wonderful. That tells a lot. So
that tells a lot.
So there was definitely some connection.
There are records, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm enlightening on this part.